Hello and welcome to the Humble Ego podcast, a space where we can have truthful conversations about the good, hard and uncomfortable parts of being a creator. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Joy, and through conversations with the creators I admire, I really wanted to just break down and learn how we can stay productive and true to our authentic selves whilst putting our work out into the world. Today is really exciting because I have a very talented actress, painter. She's just an all-round incredible artist, creative, and I am so excited to have her. She also has her bachelor in science psychology.
I thought you were going to say she also has her scooter license. And I was like, oh.
I mean, she does.
I just got it yesterday, folks.
Well done. Everyone, clap.
Yay!
It is the beautiful Courtney Miller. Hi.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here, guys. I'm going to be completely transparent. We just filmed maybe half an hour. And it was such a great combo. We got so into it. And then I look over and it's not even recording. So if I keep looking over at this mic thing, it's because I'm panicked it's not recording. We're still recording, so it's okay. But this is little redo. We're also in a new space. If you're watching this episode, you would see that I'm actually in Melbourne right now, which is exciting. We have a little cat sitting next to us.
So if we do pat it.
Yeah, so if we get distracted, that is why. We have the sweetest little cat. But yeah, I'm so excited that you're here. And so usually I always start my episodes with just tell me your story. I want to know about you, how you got to where you are. I'm obsessed with this woman already. So I'm excited for you guys to hear.
We are more comfortable now. I get to tell my story again, which I don't mind. So always been a little performer since I was very young. Would always film myself. As I mentioned before, big girls don't cry. Whilst it was raining, mind you.
Love.
Did I mention that bit?
Yeah,
in a bikini, just camera really close. It wasn't a sense of I loved seeing myself. I just loved imagining myself, I was imagining myself in a really bad breakup or something. And I was 5? Never had a boyfriend. So I just
sounds like me, honestly.
Yeah. Still never had one. So I was just doing little things like that since I was very young, which I feel is very common for performers. It's just you feel so naturally. You just feel so in your own skin when you are performing. Sound check with the plane. So I was doing that really young, and then I started dance when I was 5. I was doing jazz, hip hop. I don't think I was doing contemporary at that stage. Ballet, which I was terrible at.
Wow.
I always wanted to be a tap dancer, but I always thought I was
I
too.
could see you as a tap.
I was such a good little tapper,
Yeah.
but never did classes. I just
Really?
Yeah, it was just.
Little happy feet.
I was very happy for it, but I just thought it was a bit daggy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's not the coolest.
No.
No offense. It's impressive, but it's.
But then you watch Jersey Boys, and you're like, damn, I wish I'd learned how to do that.
Yeah.
So I never got the tap shoes, but I did get the ballet shoes, which I wasn't good at. But I was always a good hip hopper. I could always pop my hip out.
You're gonna be pop and
lark and dance and break. I was really good at it from a very early age. But I wasn't necessarily a good dancer. I just had very good facial expressions,
which is so big, honestly. Now, yeah. It's like a performer, because if you do it with passion and confidence in your face, people are like, oh, she's doing the steps right.
She loves being up there, and we're going to give her a few points because she just loves it.
So did you do competitions?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, they were a Stedfords, but they were as big as you could go.
Yeah.
I do have a lot of first places, but it was because I just was so extra. I was so extra.
They're like, all right, if we don't give her a medal, she's
Please
gonna
give her something.
Yeah.
And I had really I had the same size lips as when I was young, and then Mum would put them red, bright red, because that was kind of what you do.
Yeah.
And I would sometimes turn to her and she'd go, oh my God. because I just looked like a woman with red lips, but like in a child's body.
Ready to
Oh my
dance.
God.
Put me up on that stage.
Yeah, it's like seeing kids with so much makeup and then huge lips. So
my dad always had to do my makeup before dance things. Like, I don't know, I don't know what if my mum was working, but it would always end up being my dad. And
was he good at it?
No,
Oh,
no,
no.
it was horrible. Like, if you see the photos of me before dance shows,
eyeliner.
everyone, yeah, it's so bad. And he would just like copy the other mums around. Like, he always was like very much became friends with all of the mothers and stuff, and they all like, you know, were like trying to help him out, because they're like, clearly like this dad doesn't know what
Please
he's doing.
help him. That is the most beautiful picture I just had in my head of him.
I'll
like
have
trying
to show you photos. It's so funny.
Yeah,
like,
my dad was really good at it. Like, he could always do our hair. He wouldn't probably do it for dancing, but for school, slick. Like, he was very good at it.
So
I don't know how he did it.
Yeah, no,
like
I had to really train dad. But when like with makeup, like it was literally like a circle of blush. Like, it wasn't like, you know.
Yeah.
But that being said, he's like a great artist and like an amazing jeweler. So it's not.
Oh, there you go.
I think he just didn't know what he was.
I think he just watched YouTube videos of like
Just coming the other mums.
1800s of when they used to put the moles on their face.
Yeah, literally.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I started dancing very early, which led me to like performing, which led me to like acting. I wasn't doing any acting classes until I did my first short film, which was horrible. It was so bad with my mum.
I still don't
Yeah.
believe it's that bad.
It's
like,
truly.
I want to see it.
And I just want to say the director, fantastic.
Yeah.
The cinematography, which she did,
Yeah.
fantastic. But just
Yeah.
bad
Yeah.
is not going on
Did
my
you
resume.
feel like it was really good at the time though? Or did you even at the time were like, oh.
I was really in it. Like, I really, because it was about a cancer patient, a girl who had cancer.
Yeah. The mum or
Me,
your character?
the girl. Yeah. And mum was obviously finding out that I had cancer, and she full got a hospital, rented out a hospital,
Wow.
like a hospital that wasn't in use anymore. She's incredible.
That sounds
Incredible.
insane.
She never got me back again though. Because she knew I was terrible.
She's like, you had your time to shine.
She was like, it's not going to happen again. It's not going to happen again. But I'm really lucky that happened, because she kind of taught me about agents, and then I got an agent really early, which is not the way to go. I feel like you need to train to then get an agent
Later on.
so that you can show the casting director that you're good and they can remember you as being good.
Yeah.
And it's just self-confidence, really.
Yeah.
So I was going in a little blind to that. Got a few ads. Did an asthma ad.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, supporting I have asthma, so I felt very into it.
Yeah, you're like, this is me.
This is me. But I was actually unstacking a dishwasher. It was like, I was unstacking a dishwasher with clothes. And it was like, you wouldn't unstack a dishwasher. You wouldn't wash your clothes in a dishwasher. And then there was another one, is you wouldn't blah, 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 blah. And then I think it was like, you wouldn't walk out of your house without your Ventolin puffer. Like something really silly.
But you were like, I'm really
But I'm really into it. Asthma's serious, guys.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah.
Take it seriously.
I did about, a couple more ads. Did some extra work when I was 16. And then I was like, okay, this is cool. By this time, I'm doing nightly classes. So I had many jobs before that. I was like 18 that I went to NIDA, which is in Sydney.
Yeah.
From about 15. Oh, that's right. I was a sailor. I sailed every Sunday. My dad's a sailor. I know. Weird.
What the hell?
I know.
Your life just keeps getting
So learned to sail
cooler.
when I was 10.
She's a sailor. She's a Vespa rider.
I would say I'm a sailor.
But you have sailed.
I have sailed. It's actually a very cool sport.
Yeah.
Very male dominated. I felt.
Yeah.
Like I went to Airlie Beach. Did a comp. I got prize for the loudest bang on water, which means I hit someone. Yep. So again, wasn't very great.
Yeah.
Learned about in 4 boats, and then from earnings from my ads, I said, Dad, I don't want to be a sailor anymore, which was I used to, in my diary as a little kid, it's like, I have to go in the water today and it's really windy and I'm really scared, like just constant. I did not enjoy it because I'm a nervous person by nature, which I've grown out of, but I was very couldn't leave mum's side. Very, very anxious.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I forgot about that. I couldn't do a sleepover until I was about 13.
Interesting.
Yeah. Would wake up in the middle of the night.
But then you were still kind of extroverted as well.
Yeah. Like you said before, I actually do find my energy from being alone.
Yeah.
But like alone. Not even with family, like alone.
Yeah. No, I'm the same.
Yeah.
I think, it's interesting because I feel like when you are I feel like we can both say we love meeting new people. We love conversations, like especially acting is, I feel like, such a social job a lot of the time. But yeah, something about that solitude is just, it's the only way I can recharge. Like, because I think I tell people I'm an introvert and they're like, no, you're not. And I'm like, no, like I genuinely am. Like I need, at the end of the day, like if I've had a big social day, I'm like, everyone let me have my space.
And it is totally how you get energy. I think people go, well, you can talk really well. You're like, yeah,
only because
that's because I've slept. And that's because I've been alone for the last 2 hours.
Oh yeah.
And that's how I can deal with you.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. Healthy balance.
But it's either if you are very invested, like some people can be socially there, but they're always quite fairy-like.
Yeah.
They're always not quite like I had a good friend in primary school and high school, and she was my best friend, but I never felt like she truly listened to me. She had so many friends, like everywhere, but this is one time, this is where my insecurity came from. We'd be talking at a party and she'd be like, I'll be right back, and I'm like, okay. She walked over there
and just never
came back and like just started talking to someone else. I was like, cool. But it's those people who just are invested, but only slightly. Yeah. But they're the funnest people.
Yeah. Well, I remember even in high school, like I was always very just like, I never cared about being popular. Luckily, I had a really good group of friends that were like really real, that I'm still friends with till this day. But I was always very aware of who the popular cool people are. And I always remember, like, this when I was like younger, I really had this idea in my head that like these people that go to all these parties and stuff have so many friends. And then I remember getting older and being like, you guys don't have heaps of friends because they're not real connections. They're all just those people that know heaps of people and go to parties and talk to everyone, but they're not really in any of those relationships. Do you know what I mean? They're kind of, like you said, like kind of floaty. Like from the outside, they look like they're like this social butterfly going blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's like they will like admit to me, like, I don't have someone to call when shit hits the fan.
Yeah, because they've never probably, one, gotten to know someone so well. Yeah. Or two, been alone. A lot of people can't be alone.
They can't.
Which is unfortunate. It's not their fault.
No.
It's just a different type of anxiety, I guess. Mine was 100%. Like, I want to be alone was my anxiety. Whereas other people are like, I can't be alone because I don't know what I'll say to myself. Yeah. And then it gets worse.
Yeah, it's really daunting. And then if you don't, tackle it and face that, it just is constantly, you're trying to escape that. Yeah. True. Well, back to you.
Back to me. What was I up to? So it was doing classes Tuesday, Wednesday night, or Monday, Tuesday nights for 3 hours every week. Oh yes, I was a sailor. I said bye, Dad. Not sailing anymore.
Dad, no, thank you.
And thank goodness it was on the same day, so I didn't have to do it anymore.
Did he take it well, or was he like sad?
But me and my sister really let him down with that one. Wow. We just weren't very good at it. Yeah. It's just such a. It really is a boys' sport, and it's quite dangerous. Like, you're either covered by the sail as you capsize, or like these young boys are yelling at you, stop it, which means you got to get out of their way. Yeah. It was just ruthless. Yeah. And I just wasn't suited.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Friends?
Yeah.
Do you know that episode where Rachel goes sailing?
Nope.
Oh, it's so...
Does she hurt herself?
I just am picturing you as like Rachel just being like, she's so into it. She has, like, I think her dad taught her how to sail.
But is it a big boat?
Oh.
Because there's like a yacht, which is like 40 foot if you...
Yeah, I don't remember.
Mine was like little tiny 2-man.
Okay, yeah.
2 women, 2 man.
Cute.
So yeah, it was. Look, I'm so glad I learned, and I could probably get into a boat and sail it.
That's impressive.
Yeah, but I didn't like it. I wish I liked it.
Yeah.
And then I liked acting, obviously.
Yeah.
I loved it, actually.
Yeah.
But I also liked health, and I was
Yeah.
really good at bio in year 12. I loved human science. And I thought, okay, well, what's the closest thing to kind of acting, really? And it was psych.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got like an ATAR that was enough to get me into science psychology. If you wanted like straight psychology, which was Bachelor of Honours psychology, I think it was like 90 something.
Crazy.
And I just wasn't there.
Yeah.
My sister was the smart one. I was the normal child.
Yeah, the creative as well.
Yeah.
Though. It's like, it's just like a different type of brain.
Absolutely.
You know, that's what we were talking about it before. Like, we both have had that thing of growing up and thinking we're really dumb. And I think you get to a certain age where you're just like, all right, I might not be great at tests or numbers or whatever it is, but I have just a different brain, and it's learning to value that for sure. Yeah,
and I think schools have changed as well.
I went to an incredible school. I went to a Steiner school.
Okay, yes.
So it really nurtured that, but definitely entering the world, I was like, when is everyone going to find out that I'm dumb? And I was like, no joy.
But it's the simple things. It's like the number counting. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Even if they're like 30% off, I still go, crap.
Yeah.
I want to buy it, but I don't know how cheap that is. Even my mum taught me, I'm like, I just can't. I can't even. But it's a PTSD of being in school and, as we were saying, standing up and then being like, what's this answer?
Yeah.
You're like, I didn't tell you that. I used to sit in the corner of maths class, primary school mostly, because I was quite good in high school. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
And I would sit in the corner and cry, just like tears every time. And people thought I was such a little loser. But I was really good. Maybe that's why I'm good at acting, crying, because I just did it all the time.
I'm such a crier.
And
now whenever I'm like sad and crying, I'm like, I try to make it into a productive thing, because I'll look in the mirror and I'm like, okay.
Yeah. What does it look like? What does it look like?
Now,
what does it look like?
I am really sad,
cry?
but also like, let's analyze this.
Because you just do it all the time. When people that don't cry much cry, they're like, oh, just gonna let this one sink in because I never do it.
Yeah, literally.
I truly think you're either a crier or you don't.
I just learned to cry. Like, that was, mum was like, release. And now I have no control. Like, if I'm sad or emotional about something, like, even if I'm out in public and I'm like, Joy, don't cry. Like, don't fucking keep it in. Like, I have no control.
Wow.
Like, tears are out.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing.
You're not a wailer, though.
No.
You just...
Well, it can be sometimes. Sometimes it's full.
Yeah, really?
But not in public.
Full expression.
No, I can hold that in public.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I'm an emotional gal.
Yeah. Sometimes I wish I wasn't so emotional. Like
same.
At full-time drama school, I got the award of, it was in quotes, I don't know why I'm crying. Because I'd always say that, but I don't know why I'm crying. But like, genuinely, I was like, I'm not sad.
No,
I
that's
just
me
cried.
too.
Yeah.
Well, like, I've had in so many relationships, whenever I'd have to have like a serious talk with like one of my partners or something, and just share what's on my heart, just anything that's like slightly vulnerable, I just start welling up, and they're like, oh my God, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I swear I'm fine. I'm just trying to communicate what I want, and like, you're amazing. But I just fall, just like go into it. And I'm like, I hated it though, because I was like, I just want to have a convo with you.
Let me say it.
Like, yeah, like, I don't want to make you think that when I'm crying it's not real. Like,
yeah. My most annoying one is I cry when I'm really, really angry.
Really?
And I cry. It's like so frustrating.
Wow. See, I can probably count on my hand the amount of times I felt really angry. Like, anger is just not something I feel often, because if I go even slightly into anger, it just becomes sad straight away.
Yeah, right.
Like, I don't know why. It's always like, when I see people get really angry, I'm like, it's just not something I go to. I just go straight. I like skip that step, and I'm just straight to heartbroken.
Yeah. Well,
like,
I suppose there's anger that comes from hurt. And there's anger of, I am so, like, the older I get, the more I'm bad.
Yeah.
Like, really fired, and will spit at people.
Wow.
Not, I did it the other day at work to our caterer. Because she just was asking so many questions, and I really, what I should have said is, I'm really busy and I cannot do your job as well as mine.
Yeah.
At the same time. I just can't. I don't know where your brochures are. I'm not sure. I did not move them. And also, I don't want to be here. And I did go, I don't know. It was quite rude.
Yeah.
Which doesn't sound very rude, but it was rude for me and it was
Yeah,
unnecessary.
it feels
Yeah. And I went up to her and I said, I'm so sorry I just spat at you. I'm on the edge.
Yeah.
She was very nice about it, but I was very proud that I could apologize.
100%, like see it in the moment and be like,
that was
fuck,
yuck.
that was not what I...
It took me about 5 minutes because I was like, nah.
If you're in the emotion, yeah, it takes a while. But yeah, being able to look back and still like go up to that person and be like, that was not my proudest moment. Yeah. Sorry about that. You didn't deserve that. Is good.
Yeah. I feel alive when I'm angry because for a long time I wasn't angry.
Yeah.
And now everything makes me angry. But I love it.
Yeah. It's so interesting because the few times that I have been angry, it's like I hate it. I don't think I've experienced it enough to know how to deal with it.
You know what you should read?
What?
It's called The Dance with Anger.
I think I've heard of it.
For women. It's a women's book.
Wow.
Yeah, I listened to it. It's fantastic.
Because I don't know if it's healthy that I don't feel like, I don't know if it's that I'm just good at knowing my emotions. So instead of saying I feel angry, I'm like, I know exactly that I feel frustrated. Or like, I don't know if it's that I bypass it for the good thing, or if I'm just so uncomfortable with feeling it that I don't let myself.
Well, I guess that's just what the next chapter is then, being like, we do this in drama school. Yeah. What am I feeling now? And am I covering it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just checking in and just being like, what is actually fueled by this? And will it relieve me if I were to be angry? And that doesn't mean yell at someone. That just means setting a boundary. Yeah. Of do not treat me like that. That was very cruel.
Yeah. And anger's the only emotion I have that with. So interesting. Anyway. Yeah. Anyway.
Read that book.
Yeah, I will.
I need to read it again, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did. I just keep making this about myself.
No, this is what the podcast is about. We want to know about you. I'm sorry that I keep like bringing up.
No, I love it. I love it. Conversation. I went to uni, did 3 years of psych, which I loved.
Wow.
Was very bad at statistics, but I was a woman who, not a woman. I didn't need to say that, but I was a person who loved organization and being on time for stuff. So I was very good at uni.
Yeah.
Just
I'm the same.
Yeah, it just got me through.
Yeah.
And then I got to the end of the 3 years, still acting on the side, and went, well, to be a psychologist is about 8 years. So I had 5 years left.
Yeah.
I don't really want to be a psychologist. It was too clinical for me. I was more of a helper rather than the research side. And you had to do quite a lot of research to be accredited.
Yeah.
So I went, okay, counselling. Cool. I don't want to be a school counsellor, but I want to work my way somewhat into that field. So I did a graduate of rehab counselling, which is, it's quite a broad spectrum of things you can do. You could be a case manager. You don't actually need that degree, but case management is, you are working in an office and you're dealing with a lot of papers, people's forms and whatnot, and trying to get them back into work or back into life, or they've had a disability and you need to get them their money to help them go back into life, which I love. I didn't love. It was a nice to help someone, but it was, again, lots of paperwork, and I needed to deal with people one-on-one.
Yeah, it's intense as well.
Yeah. During that time I was doing Lifeline, which was very, very tough.
Yeah. That's I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
What drew you into that? Just wanting to help.
I knew I was good at it. I knew that from a very early age, I could speak to adults very well. Yeah. Which is actually the hardest thing about it, because sometimes they can tell that you're youthful and they say it, and you go, yeah, cool.
Yeah, but that doesn't take away from the
But I can still help you. Yeah. Because I was 21.
Wow.
I started when I was
That's so young to be doing that work.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was about training for about 7 months. So I started when I was 20 and I was on the phones by myself by 21.
Yeah.
The best thing I ever did, toughest thing I ever did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even explain it. It was just like in these really really not odd, but very important situations, and I had to talk them out of it.
Yeah.
taught me a lot, and I grew up very quickly with it.
Yeah, I can imagine like dealing with people in that just like heightened pivotal moment.
Yeah.
And like you would just, it would give you such a different perspective on life.
Yeah.
You know, like, how do you think that's kind of helped you with your acting and roles you've taken on?
It was hearing even tones in different voices. It would have been amazing if I could see them, because you could read so much. And also the hardest thing about being on the telephone, the best thing about being on the telephone is people ring you because they can't see you. So you're completely anonymous.
Yeah.
That's why that service is like that. But the other thing is I had to do the check of, are you holding anything dangerous? Are you holding a razor? Are you holding, you know, in Australia, there's, you know, guns weren't a problem, but are you holding anything that can hurt yourself? It's asking those questions whilst making them not feel like I'm checking boxes.
Yeah.
And they would call you out on that. They'd go, you're just checking boxes. This is your job. I'm like, yes, it's my job, but I need to keep you safe.
But also, like it's,
So that was really hard. Or if they said they were, I can't guarantee that they are.
Yeah.
Or if they said I'm not, I can't guarantee if they're not. So it's always like, always checking in. I just want to make sure you're not holding this, you know, that kind of thing. I won't get into it. But so for acting, it would have been so much better if I could see them. Yeah. Because you get to see the different
But also so much is in the voice as well. And just even you going through that experience and feeling it in yourself, I'm sure would just feed into so much of like, because I think the character you play, I'm really jumping ahead here. I didn't even let you finish your life story.
I think we're
so excited.
How about I finish it and then we could like...
Let's finish the life story and then...
So then I started my graduate diploma. Halfway through, I got the role of Bella on Home and Away.
Amazing.
Yeah, but it was like my first role. It was just like, I was like, okay, I'm an actor now.
Which is pretty, for those of you who don't know, Home and Away is like a pretty iconic Australian show. Like it's very like, so many Australian actors kind of started there, right? And like, so I feel like to get that would be such a like, holy shit. Like,
it was I was 22 at that time. I just remember jumping up and down and squealing into it was so, but I was also I was very professional. I never watched the show, therefore I wasn't starstruck, thank goodness. I've
actually never seen the show either, but I've heard so much about it throughout the years, and I've seen some of your scenes because I'm a little fan. You're great.
She's a tough nut. I was just so ready to get to work because there are differences in actors. There's actors who want the fame, and it's what's the word? You can just, there's no DO for desperation. Yeah. Just you read it all over their faces. Yeah. And I can definitely say that I wasn't that type. I just was so excited to work and to really show them what I had. Yeah, which I got better. I was on for about 3.5 years, because I just went back and just finished.
Crazy.
Yeah, and I got so much better. I got a lot of bad traits because like TV's, you know, it's not theatre. Yeah, but I learnt a lot. And now it's like, what next?
Yeah. Well, that's a crazy thing about, you know, being an actor, but also just a creative is so much of the time. It's like you make the path. So you have no,
100%.
like, it's like.
It's hustling.
Yeah, 100%. It's constantly like big project and then what now? Like what? But you are an incredible painter as well.
Yeah.
Which is such a cool, I think that's another thing about acting that I love is that it's great, but it's also sometimes allows you to focus on other things.
Oh my gosh, there's another cat.
Yeah, there's another cat.
You didn't tell me there's another cat.
Yeah, I don't know where he's been. Clearly outside wandering around. Sorry, we're surrounded by cats, right?
Postman Pat and a black and white cat.
His name's Boots.
Boots. He doesn't have any boots.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why they called him Boots actually. But he's the more likes to do his own thing. And then Odie
yes, I
here
can tell.
Like,
you just love
I need just love.
Yeah. I love it. Sorry.
What were we talking
I just
about?
a corner of my eye. I was like, it's an animal.
There's an animal
It's an
walking
animal.
in. Oh yeah, with your sorry guys, painting,
yeah.
and doing that as an extra thing, because I think that's such a cool thing of like, being able to do more than one thing and being like, when I don't have a job, I can focus on this whole other side of me that I love just as much. So where are you with your painting and all that?
Again, very lucky. Was told very early that I'm good at stuff, so I have never doubted anything.
Wow, have you experienced like imposter syndrome? That's amazing. I've
I
only
know.
had one other friend who's a painter, currently living in New York, and he was my only other friend that was like, so what does imposter syndrome actually feel like?
Yeah. I don't know.
That's amazing though. That means you really have that like self-worth and confidence in just doing it, and that's sick.
I definitely get feelings. It's not like I'm an imposter, but it's like I always think I look too young. And that's when I feel like I'm an imposter, because I always start, like if I'm teaching an adult class, I'm always like, guys, I look really young, but I'm actually I actually have been studying for a while and I'm actually older than I look. That's been a really big thing in my life. Dating, teaching. I'm always worried people think I look young, therefore I belittle myself. It's really weird.
Wow.
So that's probably the closest thing I had. Like I was teaching an adult class and I actually started with, guys, I look really young. But I'm at, and then I go, I've actually been on TV for a while and I do kind of know my stuff. As soon as I start talking, they're fine. But that would probably be the closest thing to it. And with my art, I'm like, if you don't like it, don't buy it. I didn't make it especially for you. And you can talk about it. That's fine. You just don't like pink. Sorry. You know what I mean?
Not your painting. I get it.
It's just not your painting.
Yeah.
And I also have not forced
subjective.
you to buy it at all. You don't even have to come to my gallery. I don't care.
But everything you're saying is such a healthy thing and something people struggle with so much. I even struggle. Like, I've worked so hard on just getting to that mindset, because something from a young age, I was such a people pleaser. Like I so wanted people to like me, and it wasn't only like people that I respected. It wasn't even like, oh, I really like this person, I want them to like me. It was like, I just want everyone to see that I'm a good person and that I and then you get older and you're like, well, that's unrealistic.
It's not gonna happen.
Everything's so subjective, and if someone doesn't like my videos or whatever, like that's fine.
Don't watch them then.
Exactly. But it was really hard for me to come to that place, and I think I'm finally in that now. I definitely still have to like remind myself, Joy, it's okay, like just do your thing. But it's easy to step back into that. But that's really amazing that you had that, because I also had parents that were very like, you're a star, you're great, like amazing, so supportive. But
I think the important thing is they were healthy about it.
My
mum was never like, my mum did say you can do anything, and then I had dad who was like, just, you got to get some money though.
And you got to work hard.
You've got to work really hard, and my dad is the hardest working man ever.
Same with my parents.
So it was like, I was very lucky that I had a mum who was really wanted to be an artist, but came from a big family and a supportive mum. She just had, as in my granny, just had 8 kids. So it's just, mum got left a little bit and couldn't do dancing or couldn't do that.
True.
I was just very lucky that we only had 2 kids, a sister. I have a sister. And then I had dad who was just very practical about things. Hence I went to uni and did 2 degrees.
Which is amazing. And such a great like character, you learn so much from that balance of like creativity. You can do what you want, follow your heart, but also we live in a world where these skills are necessary. It does take a lot of hard work, and all that stuff is so important. But all my success in myself, it's not outward, it's success. I'm just very proud of myself. It has come from art. I just was like, okay, I'll give it a go. Started in COVID. Could always draw. I was just always kind of good at it. My mum's very good too. My
my paintings got bigger. And then I met a lady who was a friend with one of the cameramen on Home and Away. So it was during that time. And she said, well, I'm having an exhibition. Do you want to go? You join with me?
So sick.
And it was, the trick was saying, yes, I will. And then shitting myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just being like,
yeah.
yep, cool.
Yeah.
I remember on painting 3 and I was like, oh, I would lie awake going, I'm not going to finish.
Oh.
And I was like, have 2 up. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It
Just
doesn't
do
matter.
what you can. And that's where like perfectionism is also such a like, you know, when is it enough? Like when do you finish and when do you say like a painting's done and whatever? Like, is that something you've struggled with, or do you think you've gotten good at just being like, let's just put it out there?
Yeah, I think it's a personality trait, really.
Yeah.
And it's a personality trait I don't have. I'm like, I like it. Cool. Done.
Yeah.
The people I teach, because I sometimes teach at Pin on Picasso, like Cork and Chroma or those types of things. And you have these people who come in and 2.5 hours to paint is nothing.
Yeah.
Like it's very quick.
It goes so fast as well. When
So
you're in
fast.
the zone, like something about painting, like you can just...
Yeah, you lose yourself.
Oh, it's so fun though.
Yeah.
I even like the coloring books, you know, when you like color it.
By numbers?
Or by numbers, or just like if there's shapes and you can just color in or whatever, like mandalas and stuff. Like that shit, like give me a book and some pens, I'll be there all day.
Yeah.
Like, you get
I
in
reckon
the
it's just so primitive to humans to draw. Like that's why we're just, most people love it. And then people are frustrated when they can't do it.
Yeah.
That and music.
Yeah. 100%. I've definitely had that. But then it's also like for me, you know, like I've always, like growing up, I did so much drawing and my school was always very creative. So I've done a lot of painting and drawing, but it was very hard on myself of like, it's not realistic enough, or it's not good enough. Whereas like I should have just been like, there's so many different types of art and just have fun and express it. And which is where I'm at now. Like if I do a painting now, I'm just like, let's just do it.
Yes.
But it's so hard.
You've got the people. I remember doing a painting course, which was like a 2-day thing. It was tiny. And I couldn't stand it because they were so specific.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't that type. I'm a type, I don't even draw anything. I just paint.
So sick.
But to other people, they'd be like, well, that's not a real artist. I'm like, that's just how I do it. It's like being an actor, you know, with no training. I could go, well, you haven't been trained. It was like, but you can do it. Yeah. And again, it's not what, you know, people who are trained artists, they're brilliant. And I'll never be that good, but I don't paint that kind of stuff. Yeah. I paint naive, childlike.
Yeah. And there's a place for that. Like that's the thing with any art is like, yeah, again, it's so subjective and it's more about just putting it out there and like trusting that you have something that other people will see and recognize and be like, I love that.
Yeah.
You know?
And if you're proud of it, then that's it.
Yeah. So much about that. Hey. And that's why I think a humble ego is such a message I want to get out there, because if more creatives are just able to be like, I'm just doing it, the right people will like it, I'm not going to stress myself out, I'm not going to make myself feel bad, and just put their work out, there'd be so much more happy creatives out there. But so many people struggle with not feeling good enough, not feeling like feel scared, being scared that people will judge them, and all these things that stop so many people from just using their gifts, you know.
That's where I think an important line comes in, and I'm finding that when I'm teaching acting or art, and I always say, if you're not good at it, and like after practice, you're just not good at it. Yeah. It's just not for you. It's just, you have another talent. Yeah. And it's just not this. Yeah. I find it tricky when, you know, I'm trying to help an actor and they weren't taught imagination. Their brain just doesn't think like that. Like you could teach my dad for 10 years and he just will never get it. Yeah. Because his brain doesn't think like that. Yeah. He's very black and white. He could, he's the most amazing tool man. Like, I don't even know if that's the right word. Fix anything. Yeah. He made like what's it even called? Like a washer, like a steel washer, and a nut. Yeah. Out of wood. Like, to fix my fan from Kmart, because I was such an idiot and didn't put in the nut, because I was like, can't do it, it's still working, and it would fly off without the cage. I know, I'm bad. And his mind is incredible. If you asked him to act and taught him to act, he would never be good at it. So there has to be a line, and I don't know. I'm still struggling of how to help people who really want to become actors, but it's just not for them.
Yeah.
So I think realistic expectations, if you've tried so hard and you just can't make it a career, I don't mean stop doing it as a hobby.
No, like never. If you enjoy something, do it no matter what.
But we have to at some point
Yeah.
be like, this ain't gonna work for me.
But also like that can be a gift.
Mhm.
Like finding out that something that you're not good at is not for you doesn't have to be like, fuck, I'm not good at it.
Yeah.
It can be like, okay, well, where does my strength lie?
Mhm.
And let's nurture that. And let's, there's so many times in my life, like when I was younger, I was like, I'm going to be a singer.
Yeah.
And like, I've gotten older and I'm like, I love singing, but it's not for me. And I wasn't born with Beyonce's voice.
No.
Let's be real.
Yeah, and you could practice and practice and practice, and it's those people that I go, good on you, but you had it in you.
Yeah.
Like, you could always do it.
Yeah. But it led me to be like interested in other things. And it's just following what feels good for you and just nurturing those things, because we're all born with natural gifts. I really believe that. Like everyone has something to give, and it's finding that and it's honing in on that. And it's just like, that's when it's like,
and that's what keeps you alive, and that's what keeps you truly, I think it's the I'll say cure, but I'll say cure to depression. I think people are so caught up in this victim thing in their life. Well, this happened to me. I said, yeah, it happened to you because you're really negative, because you're not eating right, because you don't like your life, and because you keep searching for something that maybe isn't right for you.
Yeah.
It's
like
such
there's a certain like flow to life when you're in your flow state, that when you're coming from the right place and attracting the right things, that you have to fucking hustle and work hard for things, but at the same time, if you've been trying and nothing's working, then it's also, you have to think like, okay, how can you have to do something differently to get a different outcome. I think is what I've realized. Like there's times where I've just tried so hard at something and I'm like, why isn't it working? And then it's just like, it's not going to. You have to do it differently if you want something, and then you do something differently and it just flows and you're like, well, fuck. Yeah. Like, so there is a certain trust to life where it's like, but it's a fine balance, right? Because sometimes you do just have to like prove like, I want this. Yes, like I'm going to keep working hard, because things don't come like, we have our gifts, but at the same time, it's dedication and it's work. Like so many people that you see are so successful now, they weren't born with that.
No,
you have to put in so it's a tricky one.
It is tricky, and it's so easily to say. I mean, someone who I would say my mental health is just, I've just had good genes and good chemical reactions in my brain. I was just lucky that I was born, because it truly is. It's truly just how you're brought up, and if it switches on your brain chemicals or not. Especially with technology and the kids of this world, like it's very scary. My cousins are struggling, but it's just because of how they've grown, what world they've grown up with, and those chemical genes got switched on, and they just suffer from anxiety or depression or
And how do you feel like creativity has helped you like with your mental health and stuff as well? Because I feel like for me, we were kind of talking about it, like I'm a very emotional person, feel things very deeply, and I feel like creativity has literally been one of my greatest tools for finding that place of stillness and joy and purpose in my life. How has creativity helped you in that way?
It wasn't a choice for me. I just always did it. But I was lucky that I was good at it from a very early age. Therefore, it was never scary. I mean, I owe a lot of my confidence and being able to talk to people from drum school. I didn't go to drum school when I was young, but I did classes. And I've just come out of drum school after Home and Away, which was incredible.
Are you good at taking criticism?
Yeah, it hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts, but I Criticism, I can't take very well when it's appearance, which is just such a girl thing.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
I think it's different to men, and that's stereotypically speaking. But girls are so bad at taking it because we're taught that we have to be petite.
Well, it's also
pretty.
we're just told that that's so much of our
Value.
worth is in how we look and not who we are or what we do. Whereas I think if you told a lot of men more so like, you know, you're not strong enough, or like, you know, more of the characteristics that men are told are their worth, it would hit them harder. But for women it's like your beauty is everything.
Which was hard on such a show that is meant to portray pretty people in this bogan town, which doesn't make sense. But I gained quite a lot of weight during it because I wasn't stressed, like a bad stress. I was just worked very hard. I have a slow thyroid. I was in a bad relationship.
Just all the things that can make your body fluctuate.
I was just full of inflammation and stress, which I'm only now just being like, oh, this is what my body wants. So that was hard to watch on TV, just me gradually getting bigger, and a lot of the women do. It's very interesting.
Very interesting that it's like not clearly there's something there that's not healthy for the people on the show and like the women, if that's what's happening.
The men drop weight.
Wow.
Because that's, I think, typically testosterone, when they're stressed, they drop weight. Women's, because of your estrogen are higher, it grabs onto fat because it's like, I'm not sure what's happening with your body. And a lot of women have either endo or thyroid issues. And it just like, but it was all water weight. It was all stress.
Wow.
And then I left and I moved cities and I became a completely different person.
Crazy.
I was just...
It's like our bodies are so much of the time telling us like, you know, what they... Like if something's off, you know, it's like you can see it and you can feel it. Being like, oh, something needs to change.
It's a big thing. So that was a huge, I wouldn't say milestone, but I was like, you got to get used to that. Corks. I call myself Corks.
Cute.
That's my nickname.
That's really cute.
With my family.
I love that.
Corks. Yeah. So my art, I think, so I left the show and moved to Melbourne straight away because I just wanted to get out of a relationship. It was lovely. I just stuck around for too long and I lost myself completely. It wasn't abusive. There was nothing like that. It was just as simple as, I don't want to date you, but let's hang all the time and pretty much date. But we're not dating. But I really like you. But we're not dating. I'm so good at those relationships. I'm like, that's fine. I'm so fine with that.
And then you're like, it's not fine.
It's so not fine. It's so not fine. And I really left a very depleted person. And then I went to drama school and I was like, oh my God, I love this.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. This past year has been incredible for me. And I also formative years. I was, 20, 25, 26. I feel like you kind of know yourself, but you're still learning.
And I want to go back to the criticism thing because hard for you to take when it's your appearance, but when it's like your art or your acting or something like that, especially coming from such an amazing support system that was like supporting you and being like, people like, you're good at it. Did it make it hurt more, do you think, when then people were like, yeah, that didn't hit? Or do you think you were just like, had that like, okay, enough confidence to take on the criticism and be like, oh, okay, cool, but it's not me, it's just I need to get better at that or whatever.
Yeah. I think I have enough criticism, a healthy amount of criticism actually in my own head. That I am very good at filtering out what is necessary and what's not necessary. I have like maybe 4 people in my life who are my coaches that if they told me something to change in my acting, I'd be like, oh, okay, 100%. And I'd be like, okay, so how? Like, what do you mean by that? I would filter. If someone else told me, I'd be like, oh, okay, cool, thanks. And I just won't think about it. Because I just don't trust them as my mentor. Like on the show, I was told every day, oh my God, you are so good. And it became frustrating because I was like,
tell me the truth.
You're an editor. I don't.
Like, okay, yeah. Like, I just don't
want your opinion. I would
Yeah.
never tell them. I go, thanks so much. And I just go, and I will drop that one. Thank you.
Yeah.
But also people don't have such a high expectation of acting. I was taught very well by a very good coach early on. And I learnt very quickly what was good acting and what was bad acting. Again, my opinion.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Objective.
Yeah, it's completely objective, but it was just my own opinion.
Yeah.
When I was leaving Home and Away, they were like, don't go to drama school. And I was like, thank you for your opinion, but I'm going.
Yeah.
They're like, you don't need it. I was like, I actually do.
That's so cool that you... And I think that's such an important thing for so many creatives, is to pick the people you really trust and listen to them. But so many of us, when we put our work out into the world or our performers or whatever, it's so easy to then let the audience be the, like, you know, the judges and just listen to everyone. But you can't listen to everyone because everyone has their own thoughts. So you really have to be like, okay, I trust this person, I trust this person, I trust this person, and this is where I will get my feedback from. Because you do need feedback. You 100%. Do need like people to reflect, like, because you never know, like, is it good? Like, how is it from the outside? Blah, blah, blah. So it's so important. Like, for me, that's definitely my mum.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have more people, but definitely my mum, I can always know, I can be like, is this good?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, do you want honesty? And I'm like, always.
Because she, you know,
and she'll be
she
like,
will.
no.
Yeah. Because she has, mums and dads have they're not trying to please anyone else.
No.
They have no ulterior motive.
Yeah.
And that's why I would probably not trust my mum for acting. But if I'm like, does this outfit look good?
Yeah.
Mind you, I'm asking her less because when I'm in Melbourne, I dress quite weird. She's like, why are you wearing school shoes? I'm like, these are cool in Melbourne.
Yeah, literally I come here and everyone's like, it's a Melbourne style.
Yeah.
I feel like, I need to up my outfits when I'm here.
Yeah, you just need to like wear whatever. It's the best.
It's good.
It's just the best.
Yeah.
So I'll ask her for that, but she came in so funny. She flew to Melbourne because she's in Sydney and she saw my end of year performance just for the full time that I was doing.
Yeah.
And everyone and I was really proud of myself. I did really well. I just loved being up there. It was just incredible. And everyone came like, you're so good, so good, so good. My mum didn't say a word, but I didn't mind. I wasn't, because I knew I was good. I knew that I had done well.
Yeah.
And then we went out to brunch and she's like, yes, I just think next time just go a bit slower. And I loved it. I was like, thank you, because I know you're not fake. But also a big thing of being able to appreciate that is I know she knows I'm good. Yeah. Because I just know.
That's why I can take criticism from my mum so well, is because I know she believes in me and loves me so much. So when her criticism comes out, I know it's not from a place of like thinking I'm bad or trying to tear me down. It's literally coming from a place of like, I love you, I know your potential, and that's why.
And you can take it.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's one thing I definitely do need to work on more. Like, hearing you talk about that, I'm like, I want to get to that place where I'm so much more confident in myself that I don't need any outside validation to validate that, you know, like, especially I think with acting, because it's something new to me, outside of my comfort zone. You know, I could finish a scene and I'm already like critiquing myself, so then if anyone says any critique,
you've just thought of it.
I'll just use it as like proof that it wasn't good. Do you know what I mean? Rather than like the other way around. How do you
combat that? I feel, and this is hard to teach, and I think it stemmed when I was quite heavily in disability, because I did disability work and working with kids, and I don't know, I worked very quickly how to figure out, and again, I use this all the time, the fire in my belly and where it sat. Yeah. So if I was in a scene and there was no fire in my belly, I knew it wasn't good. Even if someone said, that was so good, I almost wanted to say thank you for your opinion, but I know it wasn't good. But then that looks like just self-pity. Yeah. So I just said thank you and I walked away.
Preach.
Yeah. So I think a step for that is know when the fire there, because when you're acting, you can feel it. You can feel when you're in there because you're not up here.
Yeah.
You're like, you're up here because you're walking out. You've got steps in your system, but it's just all here.
Yeah.
There's so much of acting is in your belly.
Yeah.
And when someone gives you, I find getting positive feedback worse than getting criticism.
Yeah.
I find it really yuck.
Yeah.
I find it so gross. It's like, I just feel like going like, thank you, but I don't need it.
Yeah. But that's probably why you can take the criticism so well.
I love the criticism.
Is because I feel like when we start believing all the good, it ends up meaning that all the bad comes in as well, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you're not letting all the good come in and you're also like, well, the good is also subjective and might not be true, it means that when you get the bad criticism, you can also be like, I can pick and choose what I believe from that.
Yes.
So it's like when you're choosing from both sides, the good and bad, because so many people like let in all the praise and good and all that, but then once you let those doors open, all the bad becomes valid too. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But take the good, like,
yeah, it's so important.
yeah. And I write it down. I write down the people. There's a few coaches at school, the head of the school, who I absolutely adore. She once said to me, "You are like a fine red wine on a top shelf." And I wrote it down. I went, "Yes, I am."
Yeah.
And then she wrote me an email after my performance, and I printed it off and stuck it on my wall. Because it was whenever I feel slightly doubtful, I read this email. It's like 2 sentences. I don't know. I just pick
certain things to come back to.
Certain people. And I'm going to say there's probably less than 4.
Yeah.
There's not even my mum when it comes to acting. My mum is relationships. I ring her like twice a week. It's so bad. I ring her so often.
I'm literally obsessed with my mum.
I love her.
I'm not the person
to... I'll yell at her often, but I love her so much. Yeah. And it's sad when people don't have that. So it's just find a substitute.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just different for everyone. But finding those friends, those mentors, everyone that can really guide you in those situations.
Friends are tricky. I find friends tricky.
I think for me, I've learnt which friends I can have certain expectations
and you've got friends for a coffee, friends for acting, friends for a movie.
And then friends you can call bawling your eyes out.
Yeah.
Like, and you know that they're just gonna be there and they know who you are and will listen to you and not judge you. Like there's friends for everything, and I'm very picky. Like there's only a few friends that I know, like if I'm feeling really working on a project and feeling really insecure about it and I need feedback, like I know I can send it to them and they're gonna tell me the honest truth, but from the most loving place, you know. So yeah, it's definitely choosing who is in your just choosing your circles. Like my mom always said to me, it's like rings, you know, you're in the center and you have your close ring, you have your further away ring, you're further and further, and there's nothing bad about the people that are further away. They're just, you're choosing who for which part of you know. And then
I've always struggled with friends. I'm always constantly changing. Some people I love, and then they do something, I'm like, how could you have done that to me?
And it's that really expectations of people as well. It's like when you expect something from someone, that's when it hurts me the most. And that's where I think the ring system has helped me visualize
and draw it. You draw it.
I literally do.
It's the best.
Yeah.
Even my closest ones, I'm like, I was really hurt by that. And for a little time, they're out there because I just can't. Like I'm going through that at the moment, a bit of a best mate. I'm just like, I don't know if I can be my complete self. I'm just walking on eggshells here.
Yeah. And it doesn't necessarily mean you always have to cut them out of your life. It just means maybe you need to be like, I'm just going to put you in a ring away. Yeah. That I don't expect the same things, and I can create those boundaries in our relationship that then we can love each other in even more because we're better in that kind of relationship, you know? But yeah, I think we've been talking for a while. Yeah, it's an hour.
To talk.
I know, I could be here for so long and keep talking, but I think maybe this is a perfect place to end it. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for being in the podcast. I can't wait to see all the amazing things you're gonna do. You're seriously just so talented, and it's been so nice to like meet you and talk to you. So
your name to you is so fitting.
Oh, that's the best compliment. Thank you. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed. I will link all of Courtney's socials and stuff so you can find her.
Find my art.
Yeah, what's your say your Instagram handle now? Is it just
my main one?
Yeah.
So I'm at Courtney _Ally, ALLY.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, stalk her on there, and then you'll
Stalk
be
me.
able to find her art, her acting, everything. But yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.